There are really three types of homes that are selling in today's market. The first home, 99% of buyers want this home. It's brand new or completely renovated. Since 80 to 90% of our buyers have to get a mortgage in order to purchase your home, you can see that if your home is a number 3, it could greatly diminish the market for your home. Do you perceive that this is nicer, not as nice, or similar to your house? And you know, when we're looking at pictures right in front of them, people are going to be truthful, right? So you're getting them to commit. So pre-qualification script, you ask them the question, please describe your home for me in as much detail as possible, and then they're going to talk. And then when they're done, if you don't have enough information, then you want to ask, or you want to describe these three things. So there are really three types of homes that are selling in today's market. The first home, 99% of buyers want this home. It's brand new or completely renovated, needs nothing. The second home is clean move-in condition, needs updating to taste. 95% of the world or buyers want that home. So that could mean that, you know, it's a 1970s or 1960s home. It might have original kitchen and bathrooms, but they are in good shape. There's nothing wrong with them, and the roof is good, and it really needs nothing to move in and live. Now, the third type of home is in ill repair. So now that home may need work in order to be able to live in it or to get it insured, which could be roof, air conditioning system, heating, air conditioning, electrical or plumbing. And the big things are roof, hot water heater, and air conditioning, because those are all three systems that can allow water into a home. And if they're not to insurance company standards, then that could keep your home from being able to get a mortgage. Since 80 to 90% of our buyers have to get a mortgage in order to purchase your home, you can see that if your home is a number 3, it could greatly diminish the market for your home. So based on what I've shared with you, is your home a 1, 2, or a 3? Okay, do you see how then that helps us mentally? We know what we need to know. And then as we go into the CMA, when we start to go look for comps, which I'll do. Okay, the first thing I do, in my MLS, we have what's known as IMAP. Do you have that?
Yeah.
Okay, IMAP to me is the best for getting information on a property. So the first thing that I'll do is pull up IMAP, the address. Sometimes less is more in IMAP. And so the things that are most valuable that I'm going to be looking for in IMAP are, first I want to identify the property. Let's get a look at it, 6226. So there it is right there. So I'm just going to zoom in on it before I print this. I'll usually print it off. Then I will look at lot size, which is right here on the left. And then from IMAP, I can see bedrooms, baths. This isn't always correct. Heated square footage, year built. If you know this, say, Mark, I know that. It also shows schools, which is really cool. And then you can do a quick RPR. Do you know what an RPR is?
I do, but I haven't really used it ever.
So it's super easy. You just click on this, and then it just kind of gives you an idea, right? So this RPR was way off, I'll tell you, based on the market analysis. There you go. Now you've got an idea. I'll refer to this as I do the market analysis. It's got a pool and a screen enclosure. Okay, great. So, and I'll usually, when I go to pre-qual these people, I'll say the county is showing that your house, that way it's not me saying, because then you don't want to be, the county is showing that it's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 20, after they've described the home to you, or maybe in the middle of that, if it's appropriate, as there's a break in their speak. It's a 4, 2.5, 2643 heated square feet, and it was built in 1984. And then they'll say, oh yeah, that makes sense. Or they'll say, no, square footage is way off. I added a room. Did you do it with a permit? Right? Then you're going to ask those types of questions. Okay. All right. So then I'm going to take that information. I'm going to copy the address, and I'm going to go to MLS, and here's how I will search. So detail search. Maybe you've got a way of searching that's similar in yours. I'm going to pull up everything that's active, pending, and sold. I'm going to do a map search, and I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to copy and paste the address in, and then I want to find the house on the map. Now, because visually, I want to identify the subdivision, right? I want to identify homes that are similar. So what I mean by that, Elizaveta, is that like my CMA is not going to go over here, right? That makes sense. Right. But also, I happen to know that this home is in Bay Hill. Bay Hill is a golf community, and this road separates it. I know the borders of Bay Hill. But what if I didn't know the borders of Bay Hill? Then I might go like this. I'll go to subdivision, and where I'm going to get the actual subdivision name is I'm going to go here. This one happens to be, it's showing Bayview subdivision. So this is where I'm going to gain clarity. Let's go. This also comes with experience over time. You'll start to understand properties, Bayview, right? And then, but what if there's a Bayview in South Florida, or or rather over by Tampa, which my MLS includes? Then we don't want that. So I'm going to throw the zip code in here. And my intention in doing this is I want to identify that subdivision, because if I can stay in the subdivision and get enough information, then I will use it. This part of Bay Hill is not giving me enough information. I know Bay Hill enough to where I'm going to draw a map. And if I'm going to draw a map, then for that to make sense, technically what I've got to do is I've got to get rid of this, because I want more options is what I'm looking for, correct? So I'm going to get rid of the subdivision. I'm also going to, I know that this house is 26 and change square feet. So to make it easy on my eyes, because I know that Bay Hill has homes that are anywhere between like 1,900 square feet and 6,000 square feet. So to make it easier on my eyes, now I'm going to get a little bit more specific, because I'm about to draw a map, right? See, that's crazy on my eyes, right? Like, good luck figuring that out. So then your MLS might have this feature where I can draw whatever I want. Okay, yep. So then I do that. So here, I'm gonna go like this, this. All right, to make this easy, I've already done this search. I'm going to go to it. All right, so it's like this is a cooking show, and we're going to go to the one that's in the oven right now, and it's going to save us a little time. But you can see I'm going to draw it all around what I know Bay Hill to be. You know how to do this then, right? Okay, so let's get rid of that. So now I'm going to go to my Matrix Save Search tab, because this is a save search because I did it before. Now, when I have the final CMA, you'll see I've saved it two ways. One as refined, which we're not going to look at right now. We've got to pick it out, right? So now here's what I chose.
I'm not sure what you were going to duplicate, but I think you duplicated the tab, not the search.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to. I wanted to duplicate it, and I do. And I also do this when I'm presenting, because I might show people, how did I come up with this information? And when I do that, I'm going to go into the unrefined to show them how I came up with the information. But then I also very quickly have access to the refined version of the CMA. Okay, so here's the refined final version of the CMA. That's what we're going for.
Okay.
And I'm right now, because I'm showing you my process. Thank you for that. I know this is a single family home, so I've chosen that. And then the square footage range that I chose, because this is 2,700 square feet, is 2,000 to 3,100. So now, because I've drawn the map, I did that right here. Now you can see that's the area that I drew, right? And now I can go and I can look at the results. So now that's way too much information to be presenting to a client. So what I'm going to do though now is I'm going to run stats. And the reason I do that is I want to get like a perspective, because that's everything, right? In the whole community. So now I'm going to write these three numbers down on the bottom of my CMA prep form. I'm going to write down the average price per square foot. I'm going to write down the low, which is the 266. And then I'm going to write down the high, which is 688, because those are good points of reference. Then I'm going to go back, and now based on the information that my client gave me, this is a 1984 home that had, let's see, hot water heaters in 2024. One AC unit is older, the other one is newer. The roof is 2024. The kitchen was done in probably mid 2000s to late 2010-ish. And then they've gotten some new flooring. There's fresh paint inside. And I happen to know the person, so I know that this home's going to be in good shape. So I'm going to kind of buzz through here and say, all right, what's the closest to their square footage with a pool? Sometimes when you draw a map, you include parts of the community that you don't want. Like this is actually a segment of Bay Hill that I wouldn't include in the CMA. So I had to figure that out. And then I actually went in here and I stitched it. That property is like in here somewhere. And so I got rid of it.
And why would you not want to include those areas, those parts of Bay Hill?
Because they actually, I'm going to show you. Let me map this one in particular. Now I know this from seeing it, but like these are all, they were built at the same time by a different developer. They're all built in 1988. They all have tile roofs, and it's all this community right here. And it's separated. It's separated by a gate.
Okay.
So it's not like the general part of Bay Hill. So what I did is then I went into the map and I stitched it out.
Okay.
All right. I'm not going to take the time to do that right now, but you know how to do that, right? You would just kind of like,
Yeah. So basically you excluded those properties because they are a part of a separate gated community, right?
Correct. Yes, exactly. So I stitched that out, and then so now I'm looking at this and the results, and I'm just kind of looking as an overview, and I'm thinking to myself, well, Dave's house is nothing spectacular. It's not like recently been updated. I know that. So recent updates is, you're going to see the house. It's going to be all gray, right? It's going to be current finishes. That's not Dave's house. In fact, he's got wood colored trim, like instead of white, which is what's current, stuff like that. So now I'm going to look at the low. Let's see what the low looks like. And I'm going to look at what type of updates. New roof 2022, brand new bathrooms, kitchen. All right. So let's see what this one is. It doesn't have a pool. Yeah, that's a new kitchen or newer. And at the time, having not seen his kitchen, I was thinking, okay, this is probably newer than Dave's kitchen. And I believe that it is. So, but I included it because you remember when I was presenting in the listing presentation, when I let people see these pictures, I would ask them the question, do you perceive that this is nicer, not as nice, or similar to your house? And when we're looking at pictures right in front of them, people are going to be truthful, right? So you're getting them to commit. So I chose this one. I ended up choosing it. Also, you remember this doesn't have a pool. That's okay. I know a pool in this price range is going to be about 50 grand, 5,000 for a screen enclosure. All right. So I chose that one. I'm going to go through these, and then I'm going to also look at, all right, what was the high price per square foot, which was the 688, right? So let's find that one. Well,